Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news tonight on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. And before we go over to the headlines, let's make an appeal to you. Rajya Sabha TV would like to appeal to all its viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Wear a face mask at all times, wash your hands and face regularly, and ensure that you maintain physical distancing while stepping outside. Remember that these simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic. And now it's time for the headlines. Farmers from Haryana expressed their support to agricultural reform laws. Tell Union Minister Narendra Singh Tomar that they are already seeing benefits of the legislation. New agriculture reforms will attract investment and benefit farmers by giving them new markets, asserts the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, urges industry to invest in villages and small towns. Newly elected BJP members Sushil Kumar Modi, Seema and Arun Singh take oath of membership in the Rajya Sabha. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu welcomes them to the upper house, advises them to maintain dignity and decorum of the house. China is squarely responsible for tensions on Ladakh border, asserts Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar, says its provocative actions and violation of agreements have eroded goodwill in India. And the Paris Climate Accord completes 5 years. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses World Climate Summit, reiterates India's commitment to fight climate change. And now the news in detail. A delegation of farmers from Haryana met Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar in New Delhi. The farmers expressed their support to the 3 agriculture reform laws. They also expressed concern over what they called the politicization of their movement. Welcoming their support, Union Minister Tomar said that the farmers had told him that they are already seeing the benefits of the 3 laws.
आज हरियाणा के बहुत सारे किसान यूनियन के नेतागण और प्रगतिशील किसान मुझे मिलने के लिए आए। उन्होंने एक ज्ञापन देकर अपने हस्ताक्षर युक्त जो नए कानून आए उनका समर्थन किया और उन्होंने अपने अनुभव बताए कि किस प्रकार से नए कानूनों का फ़ायदा किसानों को मिल रहा है और मिलना प्रारंभ हो गया है और वो इन कानूनों का समर्थन करते हैं।
आज जो ये आंदोलन है वामपंथियों का और जो तोड़फोड़ करने वाले का, ये असल में किसान आंदोलन नहीं रहा, उसका राजनीतिक रूप ले लिया है। वो किसान का जो हम क्या कि किसान को असली आजादी इन 3 कानूनों से किसानों को मिलेगी।
Earlier, Haryana Deputy Chief Minister Dushyant Chautala met Tomar on Saturday. Chautala said that he was hopeful that the standoff will be resolved through dialogue.
मैं होपफुल हूँ कि केंद्र जिस तरह के प्रयास कर रही है और फार्मर यूनियंस की जो मांग है इसके ऊपर 24 पेज का रिप्लाई केंद्र ने दिया था। म्यूचुअल सहमति इस पे आएगी जिससे प्रदेश के अंदर जो बॉर्डर पे व्यवस्था है वो भी सामान्य होगी और ये जो मांग है इसके ऊपर भी एक म्यूचुअल कंसेंट के साथ कंक्लूजन आएगी।
Well, another big news now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi delivered the inaugural address at FICCI's 93rd annual general meeting on Saturday. Assuring that the farm bills are aimed at making farmers prosperous, Prime Minister Modi said that his government is committed to protecting the interests and welfare of farmers through its policies and actions.
Prime Minister Modi asserted that the recent agriculture reforms will bring in new technology and investment. Reiterating his assurance to farmers that his government is committed to their welfare, the Prime Minister emphasized that they will ensure alternate markets to boost income and removing roadblocks.
एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर और उससे जुड़े अन्य क्षेत्रों, चाहे वो एग्रीकल्चर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हो, फूड प्रोसेसिंग हो, स्टोरेज हो, कोल्ड चेन हो, इनके बीच पहले हमने ही ऐसी दीवारें देखी हैं। अब ये सभी दीवारें हटाई जा रही हैं, सभी अड़चनें हटाई जा रही हैं। इन दीवारों के हटने के बाद, इन रिफॉर्म्स के बाद किसानों को नए बाजार मिलेंगे, नए विकल्प मिलेंगे, उन्हें टेक्नोलॉजी का ज्यादा लाभ मिलेगा। देश का कोल्ड स्टोरेज इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर आधुनिक होगा। इन सब से कृषि क्षेत्र में ज्यादा निवेश होगा।
Addressing the 93rd annual general meeting of FICCI, the Prime Minister expressed dissatisfaction over the limited participation of India Inc. in agriculture. He pointed out that rural India is undergoing a massive change. Urging industries to increase investment in villages and small towns, the Prime Minister stressed that when one sector grows, its effect is seen on several other sectors.
21वीं सदी के भारत की ग्रोथ को गांव और छोटे शहर ही सपोर्ट करने वाले हैं। इसलिए आप जैसे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को गांव और छोटे शहरों में इन्वेस्टमेंट का मौका बिल्कुल नहीं गंवाना चाहिए। आपके द्वारा किया गया इन्वेस्टमेंट हमारे गांवों में रहने वाले भाई बहनों के लिए, हमारे एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर के लिए संभावनाओं के नए द्वार खोलेगा।
Prime Minister Modi said the speed of economic recovery is encouraging. He expressed confidence that India will bounce back in all sectors from the COVID-19 pandemic, stating that India has taken several unprecedented steps to fight the pandemic. The Prime Minister said India had received record FDI investment during the COVID period.
भारत ने जिस तरह बीते कुछ महीनों में एकजुट होकर काम किया है, नीतियां बनाई हैं, निर्णय लिए हैं, स्थितियों को संभाला है, उसने पूरी दुनिया को चकित करके रख दिया है। बीते 6 वर्षों में दुनिया का जो विश्वास भारत पर बना था, वो बीते महीनों में और मजबूत हुआ है। एफडीआई हो या एफपीआई, विदेशी निवेशकों ने रिकॉर्ड इन्वेस्टमेंट भारत में किया है और निरंतर कर रहे हैं।
The Prime Minister further said Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan is a vision to make quality products in India and make Indian industries globally competitive. He emphasized that the economy doesn't need hurdles between sectors but bridges to support each other. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal on Saturday urged all business leaders and intellectuals associated with FICCI to talk about the benefits of the farm laws. Addressing FICCI's annual convention in New Delhi, he said that these laws, without changing the past systems, will open a new opportunity to do trade, commerce and business for the farmers. He said this will also bring more investment in rural India and increase farmers' income. The minister added that the farmers' movement was being politicized while appealing to the farmers to talk to the government alone.
This is one government which has been committed to farmer welfare. This is a government which has almost doubled procurement under minimum support price, MSP, which is wrongly sought to be portrayed as being under danger. This is a government that has ensured that farmers get a 50% over their cost of production. This is a government that has increased the agricultural budget nearly 6 times and never before increased to today being nearly $20 billion, 1.34 lakh crores being invested in the agricultural sector. This is a government that's committed to doubling farmers' income. And these laws are but one aspect of the overall effort that we have done in this direction. I would urge all of you to educate the farmers in your sphere of influence.
Meanwhile, India on Saturday accused China of aggravating tensions on the border by not obeying bilateral agreements. External Affairs Minister S. Shankar said that there is a real danger that the goodwill that Indians once had for China is dissipating rapidly. Violation of bilateral agreements on the line of actual control by China has significantly damaged its relations with India, said External Affairs Minister S. Shankar on Saturday. He was speaking at the annual day celebration of FICCI.
I think the events of this year have been very disturbing. They have raised some very basic concerns because they have happened because the other party has not abided by agreements that we have had with them about respecting and observing the line of actual control and not bringing forces to the line of actual control. So in a sense, I would say it's like in your world, you'll be dealing with somebody who has violated the terms of a contract.
The minister said that the killing of 20 Indian soldiers at the Galwan Valley was totally unwarranted and has turned the minds of Indians against China.
What has happened is not actually in the interest of China, because what it has done is it has significantly impacted public sentiment. I don't believe that the events of this year have helped, at all. I mean, in fact, I think the real danger is that the goodwill, which was so carefully, developed, will dissipate. But I also would say that yes, we are being tested. I have every confidence that we will rise to the occasion.
2020 is the 70th anniversary of India-China bilateral relations. Under normal circumstances, a calendar would have been devoted to the celebrations. But the Chinese action of killing Indian soldiers on the border has changed the dynamic between the two countries. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha Television. Well, on the occasion of the 5th anniversary of the Paris Climate Agreement, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the Climate Ambition Summit 2020. Addressing the gathering, he said India is on track to achieve its Paris Agreement target, adding that India will also exceed those targets beyond expectation.
This summit marks the 5th anniversary of the Paris Agreement, the most ambitious step in our fight against climate change. Today, as we are looking to set our sights even higher, we must also not lose sight of the past. We must not only revise our ambitions, but also review our achievements against targets already set. Only then can our voices be credible for future generations. Excellencies, I must humbly share with you that India is not only on track to achieve its Paris Agreement targets, but to exceed them beyond expectations. We have reduced our emission intensity by 21% over 2005 levels. Our solar capacity has grown from 2.63 gigawatts in 2014 to 36 gigawatts in 2020. Our renewable energy capacity is the 4th largest in the world. It will reach 175 gigawatts before 2022. And we have an even more ambitious target now, 450 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity by 2030. We have also succeeded in expanding our forest cover and safeguarding our biodiversity. And on the world stage, India has pioneered two major initiatives: the International Solar Alliance and the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. Excellencies, in 2047, India will celebrate 100 years as a modern, independent nation. To all my fellow residents of this planet, I make a solemn pledge today. Centennial India will not only meet its own targets, but will also exceed your expectations. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The Paris Agreement is a legally binding international treaty on climate change which was adopted by 196 parties at the 21st Conference of Parties in Paris on December 12, 2015. The Climate Ambition Summit 2020 was held virtually to mark the 5th anniversary of the Paris Agreement. It was co-hosted by the UK, the UN and France in partnership with Chile and Italy. The summit aimed to rally momentum and call for much greater climate action. The Paris Agreement is a landmark deal in the multilateral climate change process. It came into force on the 4th of November 2016 and was hailed as a potential turning point in efforts to contain climate change. It called for holding the increase in the global average temperature to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. Moving on to some other news now, where newly elected members of the Rajya Sabha were administered oath or affirmation by the Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu on Saturday. Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman Harivansh and Rajya Sabha Secretary General Desh Deepak Verma were also present on the occasion. Let's take a look.
Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu administered the oath of office to 3 newly elected or re-elected members on Saturday. 2 of the MPs from Uttar Pradesh are BJP's Arun Singh and Seema.
मैं अरुण सिंह जो राज्यसभा का सदस्य निर्वाचित हुआ हूं, ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगा। मैं भारत की प्रभुता और अखंडता अक्षुण्ण रखूंगा तथा जिस पद को मैं ग्रहण करने वाला हूं, उसके कर्तव्यों को श्रद्धापूर्वक निर्वहन करूंगा।
मैं सीमा जो राज्यसभा की सदस्य निर्वाचित हुई हूं, ईश्वर की शपथ लेती हूं कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगी। मैं भारत की प्रभुता और अखंडता अक्षुण्ण रखूंगी तथा जिस पद को मैं ग्रहण करने वाली हूं, उसके कर्तव्यों का श्रद्धापूर्वक निर्वहन करूंगी।
The third BJP MP, Sushil Kumar Modi, elected from Bihar, also took oath. He was declared elected unopposed to the Rajya Sabha in a by-poll after the death of Union Minister and LJP founder Ramvilas Paswan.
मैं सुशील कुमार मोदी जो राज्यसभा का सदस्य निर्वाचित हुआ हूं, ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगा। मैं भारत की प्रभुता और अखंडता अक्षुण्ण रखूंगा तथा जिस पद को मैं ग्रहण करने वाला हूं, उसके कर्तव्यों का श्रद्धापूर्वक निर्वहन करूंगा।
Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu appealed the newly elected members to maintain the decorum and dignity of the House.
नवनिर्वाचित सदस्यों को अभिनंदन और शुभकामनाएं। आप लोग जो राज्यसभा का पब्लिकेशंस है, राज्यसभा एट वर्क, कवर एंड शक्दर, अन्य जो पब्लिकेशंस है, इस बीच में जो समय मिला है आपको, उसको अध्ययन करने के लिए प्रयास करिए। सदन कैसा चलता है, इसमें नियम क्या है, विधि विधान क्या है, सब आपको समझ में आएगा। साथ ही साथ और थोड़ा रुचि लेके संविधान सभा से लेकर उसके बाद जो भी डिबेट्स हुआ और रूलिंग्स दिया, उन विषयों के ऊपर भी थोड़ा ध्यान दीजिए। लाइब्रेरी में मिलेगा, नहीं तो सचिवालय से संपर्क करें तो वो लोग आपको कापी उपलब्ध कराएंगे। उससे क्या है, आपको प्रॉपर अंडरस्टैंडिंग होगा। आई सजेस्ट टू all the newly elected members to go through the publication of Rajya Sabha at Work and also Current Shakda and also other publications brought out by former Secretary Generals and also the House from time to time, so that you can enrich your knowledge and have proper understanding of the functioning of this august House. And you will also be able to understand better what happened earlier when different situations arose and there were rulings by the chair from time to time. In addition to this, take some interest and go through the debates of the Constituent Assembly and also then go through the speeches of the parliamentarians of those years, yesteryears, so that you will understand. And I only appeal to all of you to maintain discipline, decency and decorum, and then take part in the proceedings of the House. And also try to make it to see that you attend the session regularly. You will also have an opportunity to serve parliamentary standing committees and also consultative committees. Parliament Affairs Minister, and in consultation with the parties to which you belong to, they will discuss, and then depending on your interest and availability of vacancy in those committees, they will nominate you to those committees. The very idea of having this swearing in now instead of the normal House is to allow the newly elected members to take part in the committee proceedings, because committee meetings are going on during this COVID period. So utilize those opportunities also, and then try to add to the level of the debate of this august House. I once again welcome all of you. Some of you have experience also. So you take no time to understand once you go through the publications.
Due to the ongoing pandemic, the administration of oath was done with COVID-19 induced social distancing norms. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Our correspondent Mohammad Fateh Tipu spoke to the newly elected members of the Rajya Sabha. Let's take a listen.
दिल्ली में रहकर बिहार की राजनीति करते रहेंगे, बिहार के मुद्दों को राज्यसभा में उठाएंगे और बिहार के विकास के लिए केंद्र की सरकार की जो भी मदद हो सकती है उस मदद को दिलवाने में पूरा प्रयास करेंगे, क्योंकि मेरे रगों के अंदर बिहार 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 है। इसलिए हर सांस जो लेते वो बिहार ही बिहार है।
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का जो एजेंडा है वही हमारा एजेंडा है, जो उनकी गाइडलाइन है, जैसे हमारी प्रधानमंत्री जी की जो सोच है, हम उसी एजेंडे पे काम करेंगे। सबका साथ सबका विकास, यही भी हमारा भी एजेंडा होगा।
जो देश से संबंधित विषय हैं और विशेष रूप से उत्तर प्रदेश से संबंधित जो विषय होगा उसमें पूरी कंट्रीब्यूशन करने का प्रयास करूंगा और जो भी जिम्मेदारी दी जाएगी उस जिम्मेदारी का निर्वहन करते हुए सदन में भाग भी लूँगा और बोलूँगा भी।
Rajesh Bhushan, the Health Secretary, on Saturday briefed Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on the latest health situation in Eluru, Andhra Pradesh, in the backdrop of many people being hospitalized with an undiagnosed illness. The Health Secretary apprised him on the preliminary findings of the Central Committee that visited the affected areas. The Vice President was told that the number of new cases in the region has come down sharply, with only 2 new cases reported on the 11th of December 2020. The centre had rushed a team of medical experts to Eluru on the 8th of December 2020 after the Vice President spoke to Union Health Minister Harshvardhan regarding the health situation there. Well, let's now take a look at the COVID-19 situation in the country. Well, India reported over 30,000 new coronavirus cases on Saturday, taking the total number of cases in the country to over 98,26,000. 442 deaths were also reported in the past 24 hours, bringing the toll to 1,42,628, with 33,494 new recoveries in the same period. India continues to report more daily recoveries than the daily new cases. India's total active case load has significantly dropped to 33.59 lakhs. Total recovered cases stand at 93.24 lakh, pushing the national recovery rate to 94.89%. Total tests have crossed 15 crore 26 lakh. 10.65 lakh tests were conducted in the last 24 hours. Meanwhile, Kerala reported the highest daily new cases at 4,642. It is followed by Maharashtra with 4,268 new cases and West Bengal with 2,753 new cases. Maharashtra saw the maximum casualties with 87 deaths. West Bengal and Delhi reported 50 and 47 daily deaths. Well, the country's first indigenous mRNA vaccine developed by Pune-based Genova has received approval from the drug regulators to start Phase 1 and 2 human clinical trials. The mRNA vaccines carry molecular instructions to make the protein in the body through a synthetic RNA of the virus instead of using the conventional model to produce immune response. Meanwhile, in another development, the United States has authorized the use of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration granted an emergency use authorization for the vaccine developed with German partner BioNTech on Friday. The vaccine was found 95% effective in preventing the disease in late-stage trials. It will be given to people aged 16 and above. Oxford AstraZeneca is set to start clinical trials of its potential COVID-19 vaccine in combination with Russia's Sputnik V vaccine. The move is aimed to boost the efficacy of the vaccine candidate and offer long-term protection against the disease. Trials will start by the end of the year. Well, the Citizenship Amendment Act 2019 has completed 1 year of its passage. It was on 12th December last year that President Ramnath Kovind gave his assent to the act. The CAA bill was tabled on the 9th of December. Lok Sabha passed it in the winter session. The objective of the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019 is to grant Indian citizenship to persecuted minorities, Hindu, Sikh, Jain, Buddhist, Parsi and Christian from Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan. The act mandates that people from these communities who came to India due to religious persecution in their former countries till 31st December 2014 will not be treated as illegal immigrants but given Indian citizenship. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu urged the people to elect their representatives and the governments on the basis of their performance, giving preference to caliber and conduct, capacity and character. He said this while addressing the members of the YPO Greater India chapter in Visakhapatnam via video conferencing. Vice President Naidu expressed concern over the increasing influence of caste, criminality, community and cash in politics. The Vice President also expressed his concern over the declining standards of the debates in Parliament and state legislatures. He also asked media to give more attention to the positive work being done by the Parliament. With that, we'll call it a wrap on this newscast. But before we leave, Rajya Sabha TV would like to appeal to all its viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Wear face masks whenever you step outdoors, wash your hands and face regularly, and ensure that you maintain physical distancing while you are outside your homes or offices. Remember that these simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic.